All right, hey guys, Bryan and Sam here at Paramount. We are going to talk about something today that it gets us super jacked up, because the concept that I think that we really have developed and that we're trying to put out there into the workforce, and part of what we're doing in terms of redefining what workplace wellness is and stuff like that. And that concept is what we call the industrial athlete. Okay, the industrial athlete. The idea behind this is really making a more robust workforce, like helping your employees as a leader be as fit and healthy as they can be, not only in your office, though, in your setting, but helping them live that life outside of your doors as well, right? And when I say helping create this healthier, more well person, I'm talking from a comprehensive perspective, from everything from, yes, worrying about how they're doing their job, helping them be strong at their job and outside their job, but teaching them the basics of how to get good sleep, how to care for themselves, all of those pieces that add value to your life. It's just that your business is helping, your job is helping provide that to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's 100% a mindset,
yes,
right? We are looking at changing the perspective of wellness for your employees.
Yeah.
And culture is such a big thing. Everyone says this all the time. We're going to put forward a really good culture where everyone takes care of each other, and we're going to do all this wellness stuff. And then they do a step program.
Yeah.
And what does that do?
Yeah.
Right? That helps the 5% of people that are already taking care of things.
Yeah.
And it's not purposeful.
Yeah.
So when we talk about doing something along the lines of an industrial athlete or corporate athlete, what we're saying is, how do we go in there and how do we get them to buy into what we're actually asking them to do, and to acknowledge the fact that, yeah, your job is really hard. And regardless of whether you sit at your desk all day or you are at a machine working all day, there's physical impacts on you that impact how you feel when you're here, how you feel when you're outside of here, and all that other stuff.
Yeah. You're trying to help create a resilient person, not just a resilient employee, right? And you go back to a mindset shift around your employees as a leader. Once again, it's really about investing in them long term, which we've talked about a lot already, but this is your way of investing in them and helping them invest in themselves a little bit more, right? So keeping your employees well, helping them to do their job to the best of their ability, but also caring for them outside of the workplace. That is the industrial athlete. That is that mindset shift that you're talking about in terms of really investing in them as a person, right?
Yeah, and I just think that they really buy into that. And
Yeah.
That's why I think 100% of our rollouts with companies are successful, because it's not just going in there and providing a service. It's going in there and providing an elevation to the culture. And the employees love it. They like feeling that way. They like knowing that we're not just addressing one individual thing, but how they move, how they feel, how they think. It's a cool mindset.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just like you talked about the step challenge idea, right? If that's a part of something that we roll out, that's great. That's an awesome thing if it gets people involved, right? But what we're doing is looking at it from a much broader perspective. When we go into a business, for example, and we say we want to help you create an industrial athlete, what does that mean to them? We're trying to create, like you say, that culture around health, around fitness, around wellness, right? And then giving them those little pieces that are just common in their day-to-day. A step challenge might be something that you do every year to help raise money for something that also gets people moving. That's a very, very specific point of that program. We're much more comprehensive than that. And that's the difference in terms of what we do versus what maybe your HR is already doing today. Everyone's got the same idea in mind, but a lot of it is short term. It's not long lived, and it doesn't last, right? It doesn't change anything, right?
Yeah, and I will say that the idea of industrial athletes sometimes can be a little off-putting to some people.
For sure.
They're I want a bunch of Tom Brady's and people like that around. You're like, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is,
I don't want to be Tom Brady.
So let's not have that discussion. But what I'm saying is, you have to treat the individual for their job and for how they independently move in their needs, right? Yeah. So let's just real quick before we're done here, give me an example of you go in and you see an employee. What does it look like when you're assessing them as an athlete? What's the assessment look like? And then what are the takeaways, and what do you give them that makes it different than a basic we have PT on site and our people go see them?
Yeah. So like anything else, we go in there and we have to screen employees first. We have to see when I say screen, I don't just mean look at how they move, but I mean ask them about what their goals are, right? Create a plan for them. And I think when it comes to creating like a comprehensive wellness plan. Like that's what's different about what we do. We're going to watch people, see how they move, see how that might correlate to what they have to do in their day to day, right? But I'm going to ask you about your sleep. I'm going to ask you about the support that you have at home and at work. I'm going to ask you about your mental health. I'm going to ask you about things that really, really build that more resilient you, and that go beyond just the level of I can't lift my arm overhead. Great, I can solve that very quickly, but that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in helping you be the best version of yourself, right? Like that is what we're going to have, is those tough conversation of like, how can we as a company add value to you as a person, and then your employer as a whole, right?
Yeah, and I know that you listening really care how the employee performs at work. I can tell you, they do not care. What they care about is if they can do their gardening at home, and if they can do the half marathon they're training for, and all that other stuff. And from our perspective, we care equally about both, because if we're addressing what they're doing outside of work, they care about it and they're going to do it. One. Two, if they're healthy outside of there, that carries into work. But if I strictly come in and say, well, you work at this machine and we need to make sure you're strong enough to work at this machine, they're not going to buy into it. And that doesn't impact their life in a positive way either. So again, this is about mindset. And to your point, you assess someone, you figure out what's going on, you figure out what physical limitations they have, tightness, weakness, balance, whatever. And then we go after those things. We just help them move and feel better and enjoy life better. And then you see a positive impact in everything they're doing, work and non-work related.
Yeah, it's our job to motivate. And I think a lot of people watching this video might think like, I don't have the workforce for that, right? No one that we work with initially probably thinks that. But when we go in there, it is literally our job as PTs and as strength coaches and professionals to motivate our clients to want more for themselves, right? And that's what we're here to do. People having access to us to push them over the edge, to really help them make a change in their life, is the whole goal.
A lot of them do want that. They just don't have the tools or the people to reach out to. And when we get in there and we can finally start building a relationship and trust, that's when they can open up. And it takes everyone a little bit longer to get into the process, but I think that's why we're so successful, is the relationships and trust that we build.
And I mean, let us know if you think that this doesn't apply to you. I promise you it does in a way. Let us tell you why it applies to you. What does the industrial athlete look like, from anywhere from the manufacturing industry to like the IT industry, right? Like we work in all of those places. There is value in really building that industrial athlete workforce, no matter where you're at. So let us know.